Yo, 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 and welcome to episode 2 of WonderTree's hottest news video series, The Rip. I'm your host, Riker Taylor, and I'm very excited to take you through today's episode. It's gonna be a doozy. Let's dive in. All right, just a quick refresher on how this series goes, but it's gonna be my first time seeing it. I'm gonna compare it against the 7 RIP rules or principles, if you will, on what a good website is, and I can guarantee you what we're about to see today is not that. So I've got up here in my URL bar, and let's hit enter and see what we've got here. Okay, so Pacific Northwest X-Ray Inc., simply the best, don't you know? All right, let's break it down and get into RIP rule number 1, looking at the homepage here. We wanna look at, do we know clearly what the website is right away? And I can tell you no. Outside of the title and the little picture here, which doesn't necessarily allude to the fact it's an X-ray site, could just be a random picture of an X-ray. You don't know what this is. It's just a bunch of links. You scroll down to the bottom, there's not a lot going on. And it just says this website is our catalog, no printed catalog is available. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, it does not pass RIP rule number 1. Okay, RIP rule number 2 is navigation. Well, this site's navigation from like a traditional navigation menu is pretty non-existent. It's got this search bar at the top so you can search by product name, brand, stock number, and more. So that's interesting. And then it's just a series of links all over the place. It's a lot coming at you fast. You've really got to know what it is that you're looking for when you go to the site. And even then, I bet you'd be hard pressed to actually be able to find what you need. So for me, navigation, I'm out on it. It's just way too much stuff clumped up in the center of the page, and it's not streamlined at all. Okay, RIP rule number 3 is broken links and buttons. So unlike some of the last sites I've looked at, there are actual links here, so we can review whether or not some of these are broken. So I'm gonna quickly just like open some of these in a new tab. Going through these pages actually work. The links aren't broken, which is a refreshing change of pace. Yeah, so I guess it does pass that. The links at least work. All right, RIP rule number 4 is contact links and forms. Do they work? Does the site have them? That kind of fun stuff. Well, given the fact that this site is pretty much just an overglorified homepage with links out to their products, there's not actual contact page. Here at the bottom, it's got their contact information, but you can't click any of this stuff for it to actually bring it up for you to call them, and there's not any kind of form. So it does not pass RIP rule number 4. RIP rule number 5 is load time. Well, again, considering this website is like one core page and then a bunch of ancillary pages, let's check it out. So when you open that up, they load pretty quickly. Yeah, I guess load time is something, let's just click on this one. Yeah, load time is something this site actually doesn't struggle with, and I think it's just because there's so much like just regular plain text and the images are so small that's why. So load time, it at least passes that. Okay, RIP rule number 6 is overall site design. So we can say objectively here, this whole blue like oceany looking background thing they've got going on, that's awful. And like the different color yellow text and just stuff like that, it just does not fit. This is like the 1990s called and they want their website back. But what I also want to speak to when it comes to overall design, if you notice on this page, when I clicked away from the home page, it actually brings up more of a traditional navigation menu, if you will, where there's just like 5 main pages. And when you scroll down, the footer changes as well. It looks like there's the contact information changes as well. That to me is a bad thing, right? Like it's okay to change the site from page to page a little bit, but you're changing like the header experience and the footer experience. Like you're not just changing the information based on the page, you're changing the actual layout and functionality. And when you do that page to page, it can be a problem. So for me, overall design, clearly this is not it. It does not pass. Okay, so RIP rule number 7 is mobile optimization. Now, based on how this site looked on the desktop, I don't have high hopes, but let's take a dive into it and check it out. So when you sign into it, because it's just a home page with a bunch of links, there's not too much going on here for it to like not look good on mobile. But it's certainly, it's not built for mobile, you know, it's just like not terrible on mobile. And when you click some of the different links, it loads, you know, this isn't the world's worst website that I've ever seen on mobile, but it's certainly not the best. And like when you look up here at the top, you can actually, it does that whole zoom in thing, which tells you that it's not a responsive site. The menu text is just super tiny. So yeah, I mean, no surprise, but it does not pass Rip Roll 7. That's all for today's episode. It was shocking to me to see that at the bottom it still had their copyright date as like a 2021 date. So obviously the site gets updated every once in a while. I hope that you enjoyed the episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this on, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, hit the appropriate button, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.